Hey, hey, good morning, all. It is Monday, February 5th of 2024. Not a bad weekend. Quiet. I'm learning more and more about those migrants that beat up the cops and what they're doing now. And when are you going to be tired of these shitty policies? I'm just asking because your bail reform is an absolute failure. You don't have 7 guys beating up a cop and out on the street the next day. 1 guy was held. 1 guy. But you let them out on the street the next day and they're giving you the double bird. Then you're handing these people $1,000 cards, prepaid cards for every month. A place to stay. We have homeless. We have veterans who can't get the fucking benefits they need. The American people are starting to wake up to the bad policies of the Democratic Party. I'm sorry. They're fucking terrible. Okay? Your Inflation Reduction Act was a fucking disaster. This here in New York, this bail reform crap is a fucking disaster. The DA actually, the DA of New York City actually stood at a podium and said we have to look at the severity of the crime before we start, charging and convicting. You fucking asshole. Beating up a cop is the number 1 thing on the list of shit you should go to jail for. I don't understand the policies. I don't. This bail reform stinks. Now, during the pandemic, if you remember, here in New York, they started building outside dining structures so they could try at least stay in business by doing outdoor stuff. Basically, it was a fucking shed. There was nothing outdoors about it. But just because it was placed outside in the street makes it outdoors. Great. Now, the city wants not only you to pay for a permit to keep that thing, but then they want you to take it down during different times of the year. So, I've seen as much as, $2,000 a coat? I just heard it briefly on the news because I went, what? It's anywhere from like $200 to $2,000 to get a permit, depending on where you are in the city. Obviously, Manhattan is a higher price. But now I have to pay the city $2,000 for a permit to keep my outside structure up. And then I have to be able to tear it down and put it away for certain times of the year. Basically winter. Really? So you're paying $2,000 a year for maybe 5 months of outdoor dining. Do you see how fucking the scams work with Democrats and liberals? They want to tax your fucking nuts off. And there's nothing anybody does to stop it. They keep voting the same people in who keep picking their pocket. Okay? The migrant crisis is a bunch of shit. And don't sit here and tell me Republicans are blocking the legislation to shore up the border. It does nothing to shore up the border. It gives you more cops, gives you maybe a few more resources, but it does nothing to stop the influx. And you don't even need the Senate or the House. I'm sorry, you don't. Joe Biden can sign an executive order, just like Trump did, for the Keep in Mexico policy that he dismantled day 1 on the job. Okay? That's all he has to do. You don't need the Senate. You don't need the House. Period. End of story. Of course, you forgot that part that Trump did. And you also forgot that he rescinded it. Put it back in place. Maybe this stops. But now you've let 10 million people over. and you're giving them housing, you're giving them money, you're trying to fast track them on a job. Look, there is a percentage of migrants who actually wanted to get out of the situation they were in and were desperate enough to do what they did. I get it. But there's another percentage that wants to take over, sell more drugs, commit more crimes. I mean, some of these people are criminals in the country they were in. I'm sure that these 7 people who beat up the cops were just great citizens looking for a better life. I don't know what you see in these policies that you vote these people back in. Please tell me what the policies are. If the first thing out of your word is, well, it's better than Trump or something with Trump, forget it. He's been out of office for 3 years. I don't give a shit. He has no influence. You can sit here and tell me that, Trump's telling Republicans don't do anything with the border so we can have it with bullshit. Even if he says that, they don't have to listen to him. He's not their boss. Okay? They don't have to listen to him. If they're listening to him, they're fucking robots. Use your own fucking mind. You can see what's going on. You also know that the president can wipe this out in one stroke of the pen. You don't need the fucking Congress for it. But both sides are going to play the little political game with these people. Meanwhile, we have to suffer for it. I just filed my taxes. And because of the wonderful tax structure that's now in place, thanks to Biden fucking screwing it up, I had to pay the federal government this year. It wasn't much. But the point is I had to pay them. I swear, and anything I pay the federal government now goes to these fucking migrants. It doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to the people who actually need it, who are citizens of this country, who pay into the fucking system. No, fuck you. We gotta help these people. You want to help them? Send them the fuck back. Make them wait in Mexico. Deport them back to where they belong because they broke the law. Like I said, I understand there are people that came here for the right reasons and just couldn't wait and just came across the border because they could. But there's also a percentage of very bad people. To quote, you want to sit here. Trump said that too. Very bad people. There's also very good people. Yeah. So if your little Trump derangement system comes on my page, I'm going to block you. Because I'm tired of hearing it. Okay? This is not a Trump thing right now. Right now, this is who's in charge. This is his problem that he caused. You keep forgetting that little problem. He caused this problem. So let's try and wake up, get the right people in office, get the right people to run for office if they let them, and let's see what happens. Anyway, you all have a good day. That's my weekend rant. Booyah.